So, namaste and welcome to this satsang. So, satsang is really the place where we come together to really come to experience truth. You know, satsang isn't just for discussing truth or for learning more mental knowledge about truth, but really to start to live and experience that truth, to come to a deeper understanding of what we actually are, and an understanding that is coming from our own direct experience. And it's really important to be open to experience a greater or deeper version of yourself than perhaps you've experienced before in the past. Why is that important? Because if you are just reading about something or perhaps listening to someone else's experience of their real self, it's not going to have the same impact on you. But if you are experiencing it directly, which is what satsang is for, it's going to shift you. It's going to shift your values. It's going to shift your commitment. It's going to shift your energy, everything, because you will no longer be approaching your satsang from a place of hoping it happens, or wondering if you're going to make it, or wondering if you're perhaps good enough to get there, which is something that a lot of us struggle with. And you'll start to really see that it actually is happening. So this is so important, because when it's a recognition of what you really are, coming from your own heart, your own experience, then it's not going to be something that your mind can attack, you know, something that your egoic sense of self can suggest that you're making up or begin to sabotage somehow. When you're actually experiencing perhaps a deeper, more profound reality, a sense of you than you've experienced before, first thing that's going to happen is you're going to fall in love with that. You're going to fall in love with the idea that there's something so much greater than what you've seen about yourself. And you're going to begin to find a power and a clarity and an enormous love that is kind of inside each one of us, trying to push its way through our sense of being someone. So all it needs to do that is just to allow an openness, just to see if there is in fact somebody, something bigger inside, underneath the surface aspect of our being that's waiting to shine. And it's really not that hard to do once that openness is there. Once you're willing to experience if there's something more, and for a moment you're not in conflict with anything as it is in this moment, if you're not arguing with anything that's happening right now, and there's an openness inside your own heart to experience the fullness that you are, then you're really putting yourself in a good position to begin to experience what everyone is looking for, whether they realize it or not. Everyone wants to be happy, everyone wants to be peaceful, and everyone wants to feel safe. And that's not just in these current times, that is the basis of all human existence. So if you can recognize that those things are possible to feel inside your own heart, that you don't need to gather anything from out there, you don't need to depend on anyone or anything, not in a cold way, but really this direct experience of what you actually are is going to fill your heart up with more than enough love and more than enough clarity, more than enough wisdom, more than enough peace, more than enough compassion, and understanding and energy, and perhaps all the things we felt we may be lacking as a separate being just going about our day-to-day existence. And that really has the benefit of just allowing you to move through your experience from a very different situation, a very different place, to begin to experience life from your real being, to interact with everything in your environment from that place of clarity and more than enoughness, that place that can never run out or disappear. No matter how much love you give, you'll only stimulate more. No matter how much compassion you give, there's only going to be more coming from that. So it's a supply and demand thing. The more you give that love from the place that's infinite abundance of everything inside, then the more you're going to feel it constantly. So how to find that real being, how to connect with that, to experience it, and for it to become your truth rather than something you've read about or are trying to reach. It's just really to understand that most people only really experience the very most surface layer of their being. Most people are only really able to sense that the very most top layer of what they are or what this moment is, because they are the same thing. And there's so much more inside the real being of everyone on this planet. So it's just moving beyond limiting yourself to only thinking, feeling, and experiencing. Each one of us believes, at first at least, that we are a separate being, and I might have the sense that I'm moving around my life and I'm interacting with all these other beings, and there is only I only have so much time on this planet. I only have so much time in each day. I only have so much energy to give. I only have so much patience, so we're going around from this perspective in our life, trying to experience the fullness. But as a separate being, we're constantly focused on our thoughts, our emotions that result from those thoughts, and from our experiences that result from those. All of our experiences are colored by what we think and feel about ourselves deep down. We're constantly projecting out into our world what we think about the world, what we think about other beings, and what we think about ourselves. And so if we're coming from this empty place of not enoughness, that I am just this being that's here for a short time, and I'm on this mission to gather as much as I can, as much love, as much approval, as much insight, as much resources as I can gather, and hopefully that will make me feel safe, then I'm going to find that extremely difficult, because everyone else around me is also trying to do the same thing. Instead, if we can ask the question, is there more to myself? Is there more to my experience than perhaps I've been feeling? What else is there for me to experience about myself? All it really needs is this openness. If we're not fighting in this moment with how things have already manifested for us, even if we may want them to change in the next moment, if we just for a moment, and we can all do this right now, we can just go along with this as I'm talking and begin to experience something deeper than the surface layer of our being. There's nothing wrong with thoughts, emotions, and experiences, but you're sitting on this massive heap of treasure, this massive heap of treasure, and you're looking around for resources. You've got this one little coin in your hand and you're looking for more, and we're looking everywhere except right where we are for those resources. So an openness, a curiosity, if you can remember as a child that open curiosity that you had to really find out what your day was going to be. You know, you got out of bed in the morning as a child and you had no idea at all what was going to unfold that day. And also no wish to define it either. You know, all of us still have that inside ourselves. Our real nature is open and curious and wants to experience exactly as you actually are. There's nothing magical or mystical about that. It's just your already so nature. Just for a moment, if we're not in resistance with anything, no matter what thoughts are going on, no matter what your body is feeling right now, no matter what's happening in your environment, each one of us can just stop pushing against for a moment. Just experiencing what it feels like in your body and your mind when you stop trying to change how things are already. You know, what's it like if you just relax and allow whatever is to be right now? And when we do this, we find that we're freeing up a lot of energy within our being from trying to change our circumstances, our inner state. Most of us are constantly at war with who we think we are, who we would like ourselves to be. Most of us are constantly coming to a dual mechanism of pushing against and wanting to pull towards. Camera's gone blurry, just give me a second, sorry. Hopefully that's better. Thumbs up if it's better, is it okay? Good, good. So just in this moment, if you want to experience that, just allow yourself to be exactly as you are right now. Just take a moment to stop being in resistance with what is. Whatever you would like from this moment, we stop trying to get that. All of us want more peace, more love, more security. Perhaps we're looking for approval without realizing we might be looking for recognition, security, whatever it is that we feel that we need. If just for a short time we can stop our insistence that it's not already here, if we can allow our experience to just be completely as it is right now, and then just to go one step further, again, not arguing with any thoughts that are happening, with any emotions or any sensations in our body, anything that's going on in our environment, and cultivating a kind of openness to see if there is more to this moment. So just gently asking that question inside yourself: what more is there for me to experience? Or what more is there about this moment? You know, is there more to me than I have realized? Is there more to see? Just allowing some space inside yourself for that question to take hold into your heart. It's not a question that you need a definitive answer from. It's not a question that you are going to have to find a specific answer to. Just the question itself: is there anything else for me to experience right now? And just allowing that sense of yourself to sit with this question. What is it like to sit with this question when you don't need anything at all from this moment? What is it like to allow yourself to rest in that place where you don't need anything? How to do that? Just to sit with this question. If you're asking a question and there's an openness and a curiosity, what really, really is this moment? Is there more to this moment, or to myself, or to my experience than I've currently allowed? Is there something deeper that wants to come to the surface? And again, not resisting anything at all that arises, not resisting any particular experience that comes and goes. Any state that arises will come and go. And just holding this curiosity inside your heart. What really is there for me to experience about this moment? Currently, my experience is my cat snoring in the background. I'm not sure if you can hear that or not, but so just allowing yourself this openness without any intended result. Noticing that if we're letting go of looking for peace, if we're letting go of trying to find peace, if we're just for a second not insisting that it's not here by looking for it, that it kind of just moves to the forefront of our experience. There is a deep and powerful silence that is your real being, a stillness, a deeper quality of yourself than perhaps you've allowed to the forefront. How to allow that to come to the forefront is this openness, this deep curiosity about yourself. Just a sense of wanting to find out, but without needing anything. That anything that happens now is exactly what's supposed to occur. Noticing that the longer you sit with this sense of curiosity and openness, the question, just gently, is there anything more to experience right now? Then you'll notice that your body begins to relax. And maybe your mind even starts to relax. And even if it isn't, it just really won't matter so much to that deeper part of yourself. Not better, just deeper. Something that we have to be curious to access. Something that we have to not in that moment be in resistance to anything to experience. What else is there about yourself to experience right now? As if perhaps realizing that we've only just seen the tip of the iceberg of what we actually are. And under the surface of our being, it's not wholly visible, is this enormity, vastness of our being that is silent and peaceful already, that becomes more and more obvious when we're not searching for anything. There's a difference between being open to a deeper experience and actually chasing that experience. And in fact, it is that chasing our real being, trying to get somewhere, insisting that we're not already that is disturbing ourselves. And in that open curiosity, we're no longer insisting that we're lacking in anything, needing in anything, or wanting anything just for this time. The more that we just hold this openness gently within ourselves, the more delicious it becomes really to not need anything at all. Reconnecting with this place inside the heart of our being that really doesn't need anything, doesn't want anything. It really isn't on a journey anywhere, but journeys are just happening inside. What does it feel like when you allow yourself to experience that fullness? What does it feel like when you're not in argument with your experience at all in this moment? This deeper aspect of our being that doesn't need anything at all is always here to access when we have the curiosity and the openness to just experience what we actually are. And each time that we hold this curiosity, we're going to experience the moment that we are, this moment, even more profoundly each time that we dive deeper into under the surface of our being. We'll be more and more amazed at what we find. What if there is something already about you that is a never-ending source of peace and love and joy? And what if resting as that place, just orienting your life from this open curiosity, you find that somehow in your outer world, everything that you need just begins to arrive at the right moment. There's a different way to function, an effortless way to function, where your body and mind just do what they need to do. And your real being is just kind of a question mark. It's just kind of a gentle, open experiencing. Just moving away from only experiencing our thoughts about what's happening, our thoughts about ourselves, and the sense of limitation that comes with that, the sense of not enoughness, and the sense of not there yet. Just allowing yourself to rest in the wholeness of what you actually are, where there isn't anything else you need to achieve to be peaceful. Did we do anything to access this being, this deeper place inside? Or was it really just more a shift in our attitude, a shift in our perspective? And what could stop us from doing this all the time, from walking around our entire life, from this deeper place of completeness? Can you imagine for a moment that it's possible to live the rest of your existence and beyond without any sense of needing anything, and without any sense of wanting anything? And from this place of having more than enough of what you need. At first, it comes from an inner more than enough fulfillment, more than enough purpose, more than enough vitality, more than enough well-being, more than enough energy, more than enough peace and clarity and wisdom, more than enough love for yourself and for everything. Really just experiencing what actually is, moving around your life and experiencing everything as it really is, without the filter of our thoughts about life, without the filter of needing and wanting that is diminishing our experience in every moment. What's it like if you just don't agree that you need anything right now, no matter what your mind is saying? Even that you need to stay in this beautiful place that you've discovered. If you check right now in your real being, the vast silent emptiness which is really, really full of everything, then it has no need at all to try and stay here. Is that need even true for you here? Do you even need to become established here? And the wonderful thing is that the more you dive deeper into your being, the more that you somehow seem to just be a transformative presence for those that are around you. Everything that you experience will be coloured with this fullness. And you can never get to the end of this. You can never get to the end of your being. So it's just a change of orientation of our way of being, from a never-ending search and trying to become something, to just a gentle switch to a never-ending opening and discovery and blossoming into what is already so about you. What if everything you'd ever been looking for was already right here inside? It would be perhaps the best kept secret we've kept from ourselves. And that's all that anyone has done that has let go of any limitation or moved beyond suffering, is just to move about their entire experience from this place of open curiosity. Never again encountering another being or another place or another emotion with the idea that they know what this is. Just coming from this openness and curiosity to find out what it actually is. Without our mind's filing cabinet of definitions being our only reference source. And our go-to reference source for what something is actually experiencing it, including first and foremost our own self. And you'll still have all your adult wisdom that we need in today's world, but inside your heart is much more like that child again, just open and curious and passionate. So I hope you're experiencing a taste of just a momentary perhaps experience, or maybe more, of what it feels like to not need anything at all and to not want anything at all. Your body has certain needs, and those will be taken care of effortlessly and automatically from this place. But you don't need anything at all. So I'm just inviting you to stay in this open place. Why should you have to leave this? Which part of your life, which part of your experience can you not experience from this open curiosity? What is it like to meet the person that you've had some difficulties with in this place? What is it like to meet an emotion that you've had some difficulties with from this place? And perhaps most importantly, what is it like to meet yourself from this place? Can you, in this moment, make a decision to never ever assume anything about yourself? Wouldn't it be so much more wonderful to just discover each moment what you actually are? Some formless mystery that is just emanating fullness. Never quite knowing how you're going to be appearing in the next moment, and yet not needing to know either. Nothing will ever satisfy your heart as much as just experiencing reality. There isn't really anything that any of us need to defend ourselves against in our environment, because it is really only what we're projecting out there anyway. We meet with full openness and compassion what is inside us, then our outside world will begin to change as well. So just to shift to a curious openness, to just have this question mark over your heart, not from mind's perspective, where mind really has to find out, but from the heart's perspective, just being open to discover, and then falling in love with how that feels, and allowing your life to be oriented from that place, allowing your existence to be moved from that openness. What does your life look like when you have an abundance of energy and clarity and wisdom? How does that want to express itself in your outer world as well, in your relationships, in your work, in your family, in your finances, in everything? Otherwise, you're missing the greatest treasure of your own self. Beyond thinking and feeling and experiencing is your real being. It's the greatest treasure of all. Each moment it can be rediscovered, ever fresh and ever new and ever deeper. Okay. I will I'll open up for some, if anyone wants to ask a question or share an experience. So if you want to ask a question, if you click on participants at the bottom of your screen and scroll down to the bottom, there's an option to raise your hand, and it'll let me know you want to ask a question. If you could do that, because I can't see all of you on my screen, so if you're kind of waving at me, I won't be able to see you all. So just participants, and then scroll to the bottom of that list and raise hand. So if nobody wants to ask a question, we can sit in that curiosity and that openness for a few more moments. Perhaps everybody's too enjoying discovering. I hope you're all experiencing, at least to some degree, that openness, curiosity, that really leads even deeper to a sense of wholeness and completeness and fullness. Just allowing yourself to see if there may, no matter how your experience has changed in the last few minutes, if you can stay open, then you're going to even experience even more. At first it may just feel as a satisfaction, a contentment that doesn't go away, and it'll begin to deepen as you stay open into a quite profound sense of peace. We find that just by letting go of any sense of wanting or needing anything, even if that really seems to be urgent in this moment to find it, just by letting go of trying to get something or somewhere, if we can experience having already arrived, having already been complete. And as this inner sense of fulfillment becomes your normal state, and you're less and less orienting your life from this place of trying to get somewhere or something, that your outer world is going to begin to change as well, because really it's all your own expression. When we're not projecting the sense of wanting or needing anything onto our life, and some wonderful things begin to happen in our experience. Just taking a moment to rest, just openness, and we don't even need to know what we're open to, just a openness to experience what actually is in this moment. Allowing yourself to just rest in that openness. Allow your body as well to just recognize how your body feels when you don't need anything. And is there more? Not more that we have to go and find, but simply more that we're open to allow. What if you could never get to the end of this moment? What if you could never get to the end of yourself? What if there was always more to experience, no matter how peaceful you're feeling? Is there anything at all that could bring you out of this? And even if it did, you can just hold that question again and open it right back up. Any emotion, any experience, any thoughts that come from and in this openness are going to be experienced very, very differently. They're going to be experienced very intimately, and yet without any struggle or conflict at all. What is it like to not need anything at all to change in your experience? That beyond thinking and feeling and surface experience, there's already a wealth of treasure that is you. whether we call it silence or awareness or the self, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have a name. It's just enough to allow that fullness to be open to it. Okay. We have a question from Steve. Where are you? There you are. Wonderful. Yep. You have to unmute yourself to...
I've done it. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's more nerve-wracking on here than it is on live, isn't it?
You should try sitting in this chair.
I should imagine I'm sat here looking at your little face. So, yeah. I was trying to listen. Head were all over. It kept going all over the place tonight as you're going on. Every now and again, I'd hear you, and I'd go into a right deep place, very, very deep, and come out and then maybe start again, blah, blah. And what I'm thinking, this doesn't seem to worry me too much now. I remember what you said, that seemed if you're not listening, someone's listening. You know what I mean? So I go with it. But then you said something about not being. Can you imagine not being able to get pulled out of this? I don't know if that's the view, but it was something like that. You know, this last few weeks, it seems to have deepened. So it feels more substantial. Whatever's going on. And I think this isolation is doing me worldy good. I love it.
It's funny, isn't it? It's the things that we would never choose to have happen that become the most profound teachers of all.
Yeah, I'm sussing that out now about the guru, the inner guru. That's been becoming pretty clear. Yeah. There's only one, which was always talking through. But that being pulled out of stuff, out of it, I should say. I'm okay. I went to see a friend yesterday. She got a bit of shopping for me. I went over and got it, and I sat in the front garden chatting. And she got into a situation talking about something going on that I'm a bit involved in. I'm trying not to be so much, but eventually I started putting my feelings in, and eventually I'm in this, whatever it is, you know what I mean? This, and by the time I'd left, I'd lost it. I felt like it had gone, but peace of mind had gone anyway. Blah, blah, blah. And I thought I bloody lost it again. It disappointed me because I thought I'd got it together. I think then I sort of realised I'm still aware that it gradually came back. But I feel it's people. I can't not talk to people. But that's it. I'm all right on my own. It's people. Can't do with people. I don't seem to be conducive with what we're trying to do here. But I really do like my own company. I'm really enjoying it. You know, I mean, even talking to birds these days, they'll think I'm nuts up down the street, but I'm not. I'm quite happy with my little self. You know what I mean? I really, not all the time, but there's a lot of, and I don't use words like this, there's a lot of joy there that keeps springing out. You know what I mean? I think what's this? I don't want to fall for that one again, but I'm doing. I'm getting nearly there, you know what I mean? Because I come down with the right bump last time. But
well, instead of being nearly there, you can be there now, can't you? That is in your control. You'll be there right now.
Well, making progress. I don't know. I thought I was getting somewhere, and bang. So this is maybe that's what you said. I'm already there. Maybe just noticing it more. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. There's only one thing that will seem to pull you out of this place, and that is if a sense of wanting something or needing something is crept back in, you know. And if that is when you're around other beings, sometimes it's actually come up 3 or 4 times today with different people that, you know, when I'm sat on my own, I feel great. And then when I'm around other beings, I tend to find myself changing, you know, and I start to lose, or this state seems to diminish, you know, and my experience becomes very different. And it's really, if we look at those moments, why is it changing in those moments? Why are we changing? It's really because we've got this learned pattern of behavior with other beings. This is who I feel that I need to be somewhere inside around this person.
Yeah.
And it's usually because we're looking for something from that person, from that relationship, that perhaps we're not aware of consciously. If I behave this way, they're going to give me the time and attention that I want, or they're going to give me the approval that I want, or they're going to make me feel better, or they're going to make me feel safe. And all of us have this is going on inside, and it's never more exposed than when we're experiencing our real being and the deeper peace that comes from that. And then we might move in, into a social situation, and this mechanism pops back up without us realizing, that it may express itself many ways. It may express as, I just want to get my point across, get my opinion across. But really what we're needing in that moment is going to, if we look at what we're needing in that moment or wanting, it'll be very subtle. There'll be something inside us that's wanting something. Our separate sense of self has got all this shopping list of things it needs to get from our experience. And we've been used to getting them from other beings, or trying to, I should say. If I say something that makes you laugh, you're going to like me, and I'll feel happier because you like me. If I say something that upsets you, you're not going to like me, and then I'll feel rejected. And so there's this mechanism that arises. But if you can notice that that's going to occur, and even right now in your armchair, you can sit and look at the places in your life where that happens. You don't have to wait for it to occur, to actually occur. And you can make an assessment of your life. Where do I become who I think I should be, rather than who I actually am in this moment? Where do I become this chameleon, that isn't my most authentic self? And why do I do that? What is it I'm looking for? None of this is going on consciously within us, but we can be at some level really coming from a place of want or need, shifting to that, rather than 2 minutes ago we may have been in our authenticness, that deeper quality. And of course, you don't need to say right now, but if you take that experience that you're describing and just have a look maybe later on at what it is that you were looking for on some level, not consciously, but I think inside of us all there's this teenager that's really just looking to fit in with the pack, or this we're still sometimes operating from this place of trying to be whoever we think we need to be, to get what we want. Sometimes all we want is to feel right. Sometimes we want to feel valued. Sometimes we want to feel approved of. Sometimes we want to feel loved. Sometimes we're looking for security. It really is different for every person. But if you can look at your experience in hindsight and go, what was I searching for there? What would have made me feel better if I'd got it? And do I need to get it from out there or from that person? And can they give it anyway if they're also looking for something from me? If I'm sat there trying to get something from someone and they're also trying to get something from me, it's going to be a very superficial experience of that moment, isn't it? Where we could experience something a lot more stable and a different experience of meeting that being from somewhere where it's complete and doesn't need anything. You get a sense of it.
Yeah, heard every word you said there. I know what you're talking about.
Usually it's just because we've seen our real self to some degree, doesn't mean our old egoic mechanisms just give up and say, oh, well, that's that, then I don't need to function anymore. We'll have to see them arise, you know, and they are always looking for security and approval and love, basically. From our egoic sense of self, we don't feel good enough. You know, we feel deeply in search of everyone else's approval, or something like that.
Definitely, yeah. I've worked this one out about the other situation. I've worked that one out, but I didn't realise it were in this situation. You know what I mean? I'm still very cautious in case I'm people pleasing or trying to impress anybody. I'm really cautious. So I've seen what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Good.
But it's like taking it the rest of the way now, isn't it, I suppose, into everywhere else, other relationships. So I'll have to look at that as well. Yeah. Thanks
and if you fall in love with being authentic, you know, discovering what you actually are in this moment, then this will happen by itself, because you'd be less and less willing to give up that peace to feel validated, or to feel right, or to feel loved, and you won't even need to, because you'd be feeling that fullness anyway, you know, just as you are in that moment. And even if that urge arises to try and assert a need or a want, it'll just be another thought, another feeling.
Yeah, I am spotting stuff like that. I am spotting things like that, but
yeah,
a bit clearer, yeah. Thank you.
Good, lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't forget to mute yourself again. Would anyone else like to ask a question? Claire, yep. Where are you? Let me find you. Ooh. Okay, go ahead.
Because my desk is in home.
Say that again, Claire. We can't hear you too well.
I'm watching the greenery outside get more, and it's doing it. It doesn't. It's very full watching it.
Having trouble hearing you, Claire. Can you perhaps there we go. Try again.
Am I hearing? Can you hear me now?
I can now. Yep. Try again.
Try again. I've got my desk at home, and then all the greenery's outside, and I'm watching it get greener.
Lovely.
And it's got nobody's telling it what to do. It's just quite peaceful watching it. But I find myself, I'm enjoying being on my own, but I find that unworthiness coming back up again. That, oh, have I done enough today? Have I worked hard enough? That kind of need for approval, and I thought I'd kind of got looked at that and got over it. It just seemed to come back a bit.
Yeah. It's probably just that this situation is exposing where it is still lingering, you know. If you're getting on better in general with people in your environment, and you're feeling more confident, and more you're coming from that real place, that's great. And life will then show you just the little places where you're not applying. You know, all of us have these little areas that we don't realize that we're not applying, or not living from the deepest place that we have access to, you know. So perhaps for some of us, as the previous question, some of us sitting at home on our own is heaven. For other people, it's going to present some challenges that we didn't have when we were, you know, engaging in the workplace and things like that. So it's probably just that you've unconsciously switched into this other mode of needing this approval, you know, needing someone to validate you, you know, in this situation.
I'll just have to have a look at it again, I think, really.
Yeah, just to switch back to the question, you know, as soon as you notice that feeling, and you'll notice your state starts to change, because you'll be feeling quite peaceful and silent, and then you'll start to feel a bit restless, you know, not coming from that wholeness. And that should just be a little sign, if the peace diminishes a little bit, that some sense of wanting or needing something has crept in. You know, that the egoic mechanism of trying to get it from outside, from other beings, or from, you know, if this experience goes well, then I'll feel happy, you know, something like that. Or if I do this job right, I'll feel worthy, you know. So it's just recognizing that it's kind of something's trying to get again, you know, and turning that inside. Okay, do I really need to get it? Is it not already here? If I stop trying to get that. And all these times, they're going to expose our challenges, you know, they're going to expose any little areas where we're not, we haven't quite let the truth of our being sort of pervade that area of our life, you know.
Yeah.
Does that help you?
Yeah.
Good. It's just to recognize where that's happening, and to go back to the question, you know, if the question, whatever question, do I really need to look for this? Do I really need to function in this way again? Just to be conscious of the fact that how you're feeling has changed, you know, and your energy may drop a bit, and suddenly everything doesn't flow like it used to, just because there's this little need that's crept back in again.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
Thank you. Lovely. Ian or Maggie, whichever.
Hi. Kind of a share in a way. I was listening to what you were saying, and I had a very, very deep experience. It was amazing, actually. Anyway, and the last, well, few weeks, I suppose, with being at home so much, hasn't been different in many ways, but just that we've got other people here and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been looking at the all the positives, all the joy, and on paper the last 48 hours, I would say, you know, in most people's books would have been pretty negative, but there's been so many lovely things coming from it. And like Claire said about the greenery outside, you know, we've got what we feel is the cutest little dog on the planet who's just oblivious to everything, and just the joy he's giving us. And it's wonderful. I mean, I can hear all the clapping and everything going on outside now, and it's just all the wonderful things that have been going on around us. You know, there's so much joy, like Steve said, so much joy around in what is for most people a difficult time, and you know, quite a difficult time for us in the last few days. You know, so it was just a share, really. I don't know whether you can hear me over the noise now, because we've actually got the window open.
It's happening too, yeah. It's I think we could just about hear you, but lovely. Yeah, it's good to notice that, because focus can easily go on to what seems to be going wrong, can't it, in that moment, you know. So it's good to notice that there is those wonderful things coming out of this as well. And I think I've heard it from a lot of people, that there's a kindness of the human spirit that's really starting to show through in these challenging times.
Yeah.
And it's really good to know, to celebrate that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I have had my moments where I've got caught up in the emotions of things recently, but even in that, there's a knowing that it's to enable me to be able to look at, like you said, the areas where there's still a belief or a need or something, you know. So
yeah. And I was just saying before, these times are going to expose those little areas where there's still a little tendency to switch the old mechanism, you know, where it's not fully being allowed. The truth of your being is not fully being allowed. Or we might, put another way, the same thing another way, we might have forgotten the openness and the curiosity, and sort of accidentally switch back to assumptions about what's happening.
Just know that doing all of this, and I know I've spoken to somebody else, I won't say who's listening now, and doing all of this work has enabled what would have been to be honest, a horrendous situation recently being okay. It's been, you can just see the love in it, and
Yeah.
It would have been very, very painful and difficult if it wasn't for all the work we've done with you. So thank you for that.
It's lovely to hear that. That's when you know that your work is paying off, isn't it? When you can live through something that would have been very, very challenging, and it's still challenging in an outer way, in the worldly sense, but there isn't a conflict with it happening inside, so much. So
yeah, I think Ian just wants to say something.
Yeah.
I just wanted to echo what Maggie said, that without all this kind of work we've done and stuff, it's just been, just thank you so much, basically. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, and well done for leaving no stone in your life unturned, in the ego. The reward of allowing the truth to penetrate all of your life, that question to just pervade all of your life, it is really just an ability to move through anything and not feel the high, the lows that come with being a separate being. They can be extremely low, can't they? But also you manage to experience this peace that's unbreakable. Prove to yourself in times like this that you can experience anything and still feel peaceful, even if there's other emotions at the same time. So it's good. It's you've both applied everything that's been asked of you, and you're reaping the benefits of that now. So it's wonderful and well deserved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely. Okay. Right, we will leave it there for tonight. So thank you very much, and namaste. So those joining on Monday, I'll see you in Satsang, and I will be thinking of you all and sending love, and just encourage you to stay in that openness, not to allow anything to bring your experience into a contracted state. And if it happens, then just allow that question to come back into your heart. There's no reason to be suffering through any situation from that place of openness. Thank you. See you soon.